Hello Planet Earth. This is a note from your editor here. I can only upload videos that are 15 minutes long or shorter, so this will probably end up being a two-part review, so check out part 2 in the next video. Hello, Planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730.
My BFF Jill 730.
I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations. As always, you've made your way to the Buffyngton Post. And today it's time for the Buffyngton Post recap and review for Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 10, issue number 24. It's In Pieces on the Ground, part 4. Let's talk about this cover. The Buffy comic book covers sometimes have this thing where they don't appear to have anything to do with the actual content of the book, which is kind of the case here. I mean, we do have the Siren Mistress in the book, but really, I don't know what this cover has to do with anything, and so I would recommend the variant cover, which kind of completes our variant cover portrait from 23. Okay, nice, right? But that's just the cover, so previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
So all season long we've been dealing with this issue of the new rules, which are both metaphorical and literal. Metaphorically, we have things like Dawn, and since she's been recreated with this new magic, she has this kind of new lease on life. She's not emotionally connected to the memories that she has. She knows who she is, but she doesn't feel like the same person that we know and love, which has caused some issues for Xander, who's got his own stuff. He is seeing this, like, not Ghost Anya, right? Because he found out that she wasn't Ghost Anya, and he's the only one that can see her except for the cats. And some kind of strange figure in a out of frame who is like conjuring this not a Ghost Anya. And we've also got things like Buffy and Spike being together, and Willow kind of needing new ways to express herself, and of course Giles with his new lease on life because he's like 13. But in the more literal sense, we are experiencing literal new rules in this vampire book that Giles had left to Buffy when he died. We were writing new rules about the way that magic works, like we had to kind of nail down the rules for what these new shape-shifting vampires were capable of and what they would be allowed to do in the daylight, and also we had these new rules about making the walls between dimensions really strong so that it's nearly impossible to open portals between dimensions. And with the new rules and basically this new game at the end of the day, we have a new strategy for playing it, and that means having to team up with the US military, who we're not friendly with, the Hoffman and his whole magical council, who we're friendly with, and the vampires, which, hello, the Vampire Slayer. Because yes, we've got these new rules, and the walls between dimensions are super strong, but currently these demon lords, the Siren Mistress and now the Soul Glutton,
Or Calamari Glutton, as I affectionately refer to him,
are in control of this thing called the Restless Door, which is this portal box maker from another world, and basically our rules don't apply to it, and so it can just like open up portals to where the fuck ever anytime it wants. And basically the demon lords are using this portal to create chaos all over the place in order to kind of thin the herd so that they can take over.
And so without further ado, let's jump into Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 10, issue number 24. It's In Pieces on the Ground, part 4. Here we go.
In a time of ancient gods, warlords, and kings, a land in turmoil cried out for a hero. She was Xena, a mighty princess forged in the heat of battle. The power, the passion, the danger. Her courage will change the world.
So the issue opens up and Giles is back from magical fairyland, and he's brought his like new kind of girlfriend, and basically he's telling Buffy that he wants Buffy to write into the vampire new rule magic book that he can just kind of come and go from this world to the fairy world with no problems, no hassle. But Buffy is saying, hey, this could seriously undermine all the work that we've done to make portals and moving between dimensions, impossible, basically. But Giles doesn't want to hear any of that because he's got this new kind of girlfriend. But Buffy's not too worried about that because she realizes that Giles is in this 13-year-old body and he's just acting on his hormones, and she doesn't want to just throw away all this work that they've done to kind of secure our world and make this normal-ish place just so that Giles can, jaunt off into his girlfriend's realm whenever he wants to. And Giles is really offended with this. He says, hey, I've put up with all of your crazy relationship, crazy cray for the longest, and it seems like when I want something for my relationship, whatevers, you just don't want me to have it. Buffy's like, oh dude, it's not like that, but Giles doesn't want to hear any of it, and again, this season, somebody is slamming the door in Buffy's face. She talks to Spike about it, and he says, I get where you're coming from, like, I can see you not wanting to jeopardize these rules of magic that we've set into place by just giving Giles a free pass to move wherever he wants to, but at the same time, like, what he wants is his business, and you might have, like, personal issues with Giles being 13, kind of, and dating, but, you know, it's really none of your business. Eavesdropping on the conversation is Ghost Anya, or not Ghost Anya, who is kind of giving Xander the skinny on everything, but then Xander says, look dude, we need to talk about the fact that you aren't Ghost Anya. So right, Xander found out that Ghost Anya is like not Ghost Anya, and he's been talking to Dr. Mike about it since everybody like knows about magic now and won't just think that he's crazy, and basically Dr. Mike has given Xander the advice to just basically ignore Anya, because if she's not really Anya, then ignoring it will kind of force it to become whatever it is. You know what I mean? Well, Anya does not like this. She's not happy about this. She goes on and on about how it's not fair, and basically we leave them with Xander kind of feeling bad about having to pretend that Anya doesn't exist, but Anya kind of gets a worse deal because he was the only one that can see her, right? So Buffy's moping about Giles, and then DeHoffrin like pops in and says, hey, we found the Soul Glutton and we found the Siren Mistress. They are hanging out at this place, but we can't really go there, me and the rest of the Magical Council, because we're doing this great big fight. Why don't you round up your Scoobies and go and save the world like y'all do? So that's what they do. Everybody convenes and gets ready to go after the Soul Glutton and the Siren Mistress, since, you know, they already killed the sculptor. So whatever, they kind of like go in, and of course, you know, the Calamari Glutton attacks, and then the Siren Mistress attacks, and it turns out that whatever portal the Magical Council was fighting about is closed because, hello, they've used the Restless Door to open a new portal into some crazy, scary-looking hell dimension. So naturally they go after the Restless Door, but the Restless Door is like all protected by these magics, and so they just try and do what they can to take out the Siren Mistress and the Calamari Glutton. The cavern starts like caving in around Dawn, like things are about to fall on her, and so Buffy rushes to help her, and she says, hey, are you okay? And Dawn's like, oh yes girl, I've got my big sister. So the Calamari Glutton gets all angry. He says, oh, a Slayer killed my family, and I'm gonna show her what it's like to see her family die. So he goes to grab Dawn and suck out her soul. Which is less than cute, okay? Like, that's Dawn over there. So some super weirdness happens, and when the Calamari Glutton goes to eat Dawn's soul, rather than it making him larger, it actually makes him smaller, and it turns out that he recognizes that Dawn is the key, and for some reason the key is like poison to him. So he's like super diminished in size and like ready to be killed, and he says, oh, I can't believe you would use your sister as bait. You're more ruthless than I thought you were. And Dawn's like, wait, we used me as bait? And Buffy says, no, we did not use you as bait, but I'm not complaining about the fact that he's all fun size now. So the Calamari Glutton has been like all diminished in size, and the Siren Mistress is like 32 flavors of fucked up, and they realize that they can't win the battle, but they also can't just escape into the portal because their essences are going to be too fresh for the council not to be able to find them. And so what they decide to do is just destroy the Restless Door, because if they can't have it, nobody can. Which seems like kind of a stupid thing, but they destroy the Restless Door while it's still open, and so this portal from another dimension has no way to be kind of like shut off. It can't be stopped. It's just going to keep growing and growing until our worlds kind of merge, kind of like what Glory was trying to do at the end of Season 5, right? So Willow and Giles are trying to contain the portal as much as they can, and while they're doing so, the Calamari Glutton and the Siren Mistress escape, and basically we find out that the only way to close this portal is to close it from the other side, like in the other dimension, because the walls between our realities are so strong. But if somebody goes into the Hell Dimension to close it, they won't be able to come back through because, again, we've made the rules of magic so that it's really almost impossible to open portals between this world and others. And so either this hell world is going to completely destroy ours, or somebody can go through, but they're going to be totally trapped there. And so we're basically looking at this impossible situation, because it's not like we have a way to seal off this portal, and it's not like we kind of have a magical key. But don't we? And everybody's looking at Dawn, and she's like, why is everybody looking at me? And that's where we end the issue. Alright, so Dawn is a magical key. We were talking in the comments a couple, I don't know, whatever's ago, about Dawn possibly being some kind of magical key figure finally. And, you know, I don't read ahead, or not read ahead, but I don't look ahead at the covers if I can help it. And so, I didn't know what you guys were talking about. But yeah, you were totally right. Dawn's got these, like, magical key powers for some reason.
We will return for the second half of Days of Our Lives in just a moment.